Yeah.
Welcome, Joakim, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Necrophobic, this new album in the Twilight Grey, and obviously more things related to the metal world in general. So we start by asking, how was the band been during the last 4 years? Because your previous album was released in Dane of the Dam, was released in 2020. 4 years later, we have this new album.
Yes. Well, to start with, the band has been releasing 2 albums since 2018, and then when the last album came out, the pandemic came. So there was a lot of shows that was cancelled and postponed, and so I think 2022 and 2023 was playing many shows, and then we started to work on the new album. So 4 years, well, 4 years is many years, but still there was also a pandemic.
Well, yeah. So, relating to this, you talking about the pandemic, many shows was cancelled. Were cancelled at that time. So, how will you focus the next presentations of Necrophobic? You will promote both albums, or just you will focus on this new in the Twilight Grey? Because Dawn of the Damned didn't has a good promotion when it is released.
Yes, when the new album comes out next Friday, that will be the focus for the band, and the shows are to support the new album. Still, when we play live, we we always include songs from almost every album. So it will be a great show, and there will be songs from all the albums, more or less. Maybe if we got some albums sometimes, but yes, that's how we usually do it when we play live. We try to take songs from each and every one of the albums.
Okay. Your work with Century Media starts more than 10 years ago. So that's normally the things in time change, because now the Century Media is a big label around the world. And how was the relationship with Century Media? Are you still like the first time in touch with them, like a friends, comrades, etc.? Or this time, yeah, Necrophobic will produce more money for them? Who knows?
I think that big labels have a lot of muscles when it comes to promotion. It also, being on a big label, has great distribution. So you can find our albums in many stores around the world. And I think we have a good relationship with the label, as they still want us to be on their label. And yeah, we have also our creative freedom, even though we are on a big label, and that was one of the not the reason, but we always say that when the label wants to sign up, that you cannot interfere with our music writing, and to make us produce music that we cannot stand behind or want to do. Then also on big labels, there are a lot of people come and go, so there's always new people to talk to on the label. But the main men and women that we knew from the beginning are still there. So, but I think it's a good relationship with the label, and yeah, we like to be on Century Media.
Okay, no, talking about from this in the Twilight Grey. Well, for me as a reviewer, I didn't notice something different compared to the previous Down of the Dam, because Down of the Dam was I usually compare the Down of your album with the previous ones, like the Nocturnal Silence, Blood Hymns. That's normal because. But when I hear this new album in the Twilight Grey, I didn't know that the Sebastian put more effort in the compose. I think perhaps I'm wrong with this perception. So for you, how was the composition process of this new in the Twilight Grey? Sebastian was perhaps more involved in all compositions, or was an effort of all band?
He's still the main music composer and lyric composer. But this time there was a bit of a longer gap between the albums. So the last two were written and composed very close to each other. So they are like in the same creative phase, if you know what I mean. This one actually started with our new bass player, Tobias, from Grave and Dismember and many other bands. When he joined the band 2-3 years ago, I don't remember. Anyhow, he sent us in our group chat, he sent us a demo tape that he with music that he had created. It was like 10 or 12 songs. And asked, I haven't written this to any band. I just written and recorded it. And if you find something here that is suitable for Necrophobic, please use it. And Sebastian found bits and pieces there that he liked and did the Necrophobic bakery, so to speak, with them. But also, Sebastian always says that something has to kickstart him, and this was the kickstart, the demo from Tobias. So Tobias is a co-writer of a few songs. It's still mainly Sebastian who has written the music. Anders has written some, and also Johan has written some. I haven't written a single note on this one. Anyhow, I think the new album is because of it has come originally from a guy outside the band. He's now inside the band, Tobias. It maybe had found a new way of us to sound. I still think that the new album, you instantly hear that it's Necrophobic, but I think it is a quite wide album with a lot of layers that you maybe find out the greatness of this album after a couple of listens.
Okay, well, yeah, that is correct. For me, this album is much better than the previous Down of the Dead. Is very different. I denote a lot of mixtures from the personal project from Sebastian in Aphelion. I tried something is like something is very peculiar about this aspect. Oh, other detail about this new album is the cover art, because it's not like the usual theme that you bring in the album of Necrophobic, a castle, red, the cover there, etc. This new cover art has a like some like death there, like a demon, who knows, and a mixture in the mist. So who came with the idea? Well, as you mentioned it, Tobias was in charge a little with the composition, and perhaps with this new phase of the Necrophobic, you decide change the cover art. So who came with the idea to change the focus of the cover arts in general?
Yes, I can see it from your point of view also, because our album has always been in a way that it's very eye attractive. This one is also, I think, it's maybe more clean, but you shouldn't be afraid of clean stuff. But it was actually the guy that has taken our photographs for albums and promotion for the last 10 years or so, Jens Rydén. He has a website with his photos, his art, his graphic design. And Sebastian was visiting the website and saw a piece that was there. And he talked to us and he explained that if we tweak this and make it look like Necrophobic, this is actually what I am looking for in art. So let's step away from Christian for a while. That has done 3 albums for us now, the last 2, and also Dark Side back in the 90s. and see what Jens can do with this art. So we asked Jens, is it possible to have this art from you, but you make changes to it and make it look like a Necrophobic album artwork? And he did. And I think the result is really good. And I think it's cool to step away a little bit from the blue, step away from the red, do something different to make people react what is happening here. But again, colors. It also suits very well to the title in the Twilight Gray. This is a gray green color. So yeah, I think it fits very well.
Talking about the covers, one thing that I always denote in the cover arts from the Necrophobics, since the Third Antichrist, or perhaps Death Wall, or perhaps the previous one, Dawn of the Damned, or Mark of the Necrogram. So I denote that you usually put a castle in your cover arts. I don't know why, but perhaps it's something very peculiar and something meaning for the band. What represent this castle? I try to relate obviously with the vampire aspect from the blood, this kind of stuff with the hell. There's a common things that I try to relate. But I always see always a castle, darkness, fire. That's the main things on the cover, and the previous covers are the Necrophobic use.
Yes, it's a very heavy metal cover artwork we have. The thing with the castle, the castle is on Dark Side, on the album artwork on Dark Side. There is a castle in the center of the pic of the art. And then when we were talking about what shall we have on the cover for Mark of the Necrogram, and Sebastian asked me, Joakim, have you ever wondered what it's like to be standing in front of that castle in the Dark Side album? What shouldn't we ask someone? Maybe Christian can do it. Make a painting when you stand in front of that castle. And so we asked Christian to do it, and he was thrilled to do it because it was related to an earlier artwork of his. So he painted the castle like if you stand in front of it. And the dragons and everything are in the back. And then on Dawn of the Damned, we sort of, let's get inside the castle. What does it look like inside the castle? So there's album number 3 now with the same castle. Dark Side, Mark of the Necrogram, Dawn of the Damned. It's the same castle. So that's the story about the castle. Is not the castle itself, but it has a connection between, and it's the same cover artists. And now, like I explained with the new artwork, we wanted to get away from the castle to present something else.
Okay. Well, that's interesting point. That's interesting to see these things. So you are one of the last active members of the band since 1989. That at the time you create the band with a lot of different people. Now, then Anders joined to you, Sebastian 1996 at the band. So how do you see the growth of the band since the beginning to now? How many things changed for you in the band compared to the demo era to now?
Yes, when we started, we were 3 friends that went to the same school, and and we listened to metal and we hang out every day. And we went to shows here in Stockholm. We watched Nihilist. We watched Treblinka, as Tiamat was named back then. Dismemberizer, as the name was. So we said to each other, well, let's start a band. And then one guy, he was fine with just doing a demo, and then he wanted to do something else. Me and David continued. We made a few demos and the first album. Then David formed Dark Funeral and wanted to play more black metal. I wanted to quit the band, but the other guy said, let's find new members. And then we found new members. And when you find a new member, something change in the band. Music changed a little bit, but we were still so young, so we were still looking for what the main vision was when we formed the band. How shall this be presented? And we developed that. Then, of course, comes troubles with the band being together for many years. And I was still in the band, so the next guy that comes in, I have to tell him the history about the band and how to write music. And then a couple of years later, Johan and Sebastian was back in the band, and now it's been the foundation of the band is like it has been for the most of the years that Necrophobic has been around. So, but with small member changes, there comes small changes in the band, but the main thing is that we still make great music, that we enjoy each other's company and have fun when we play on stage, because that's the main thing, play on stage.
Okay, okay. Other detail one talking about now. Well, usually when a band stay when as you are the last member from the band since the beginning, they obviously you mentioned also when a new member entered to the band, change the concept of the music, this kind of stuff, etc., etc. For this reason, so are the gatekeeper, or are you? Oh, yeah, obviously, are you the gatekeeper of the sound of the Necrophobics since the beginning to now?
Both yes and no, because as being the only original member, the other guys always ask, "Is this okay? Should we go? Should we try this?" And but also we are all fans of music. The best music we listen to, it's like Iron Maiden, for example. They don't, when Iron Maiden release an album, they sound Iron Maiden. And so is and that's how we want to be. When Necrophobic release an album, it shall instantly be heard that it's Necrophobic, and not, we are not into progression. And yeah, we are, but listening to other bands. But when the best bands we know are still doing the same thing. And yeah, in the beginning they maybe asked me a few things, but now it's like, no one has to ask me anything anymore, because everyone knows what shall be done.
Okay, okay. As a drummer of a sound that you mentioned it, you are Necrophobic has its sound since the beginning to now. As a drummer of sound that has Necrophobic since the beginning to now. So, do you think that it's possible to create new things? Talking about the drummer level inside of the Necrophobic sound.
Well, I'm not Dave Lombardo. I wish I was. But again, when I play drums, I don't want to. I cannot do skills, and I don't want to do skills because I'm not making music to impress other musicians. I want to do music that attracts the listeners, and if their ego playing everywhere, there will be no good unit to listen to, if you understand me. So I try to keep my drums simple, groovy, and don't steal the spotlight or anything. And it suits very well with our sound, because we have a lot of melodies, and I want to lift the melody instead of destroying it with stupid drum fills and stuff.
Okay, okay, well, don't we are very close on this interview,
That's my
Joaquin.
point of view. It's not everyone's point of view, but that's
Yeah,
my
yeah. No, yeah, I understood that. So we are very close to end this interview, Joaquim. And for this aspect, what kind of plans do you have to promote this in the Twilight Grade? Perhaps you will invite tours in Europe. You will come to Latin America, US, or who knows, Japan, Asia, Australia now will be open a lot of tours I saw with a lot of bands. Who knows? What kind of plans do you have for this new album?
Yeah, we start next week with the first show in Germany, and then I don't have everything here, but we will do Germany, we will do Spain, we will do Italy, we will do the Netherlands, and then also Mexico, Colombia. No tours, just small, like longer weekend tours, like 4 days in a country or something like that. And right now we have bookings already for next year, so we will be busy for quite some time now.
Okay. Oh, you mentioned one thing. The next questions go to that. So you will be here in Colombia and on two or three countries more, doing a tour with Necrophobic. I saw them in Peru, Ecuador, and also in Mexico, if I'm wrong too. So
It is Mexico and it's Colombia, not Ecuador.
okay, Mexico and Ecuador in Colombia. That's correct. So for this
Yeah.
aspect, what kind of plans do you have for these two shows that you will play here in Latin America? How will you figure the set list? Because many people didn't see you with the first albums, with the second albums, with the middle album, or to promote the last album. Now all people trying to see all new material, and I think with 12 albums, it's very difficult to see this.
Yes, we will not headline any of those shows. The one in Mexico is like Anthrax headlining, and in Colombia it's Emperor. So we will not have a long set. But of course, we think about everyone hasn't seen us there because we haven't been in Latin America so many times. So we rehearsed yesterday, starting to shape the basic for the set lists, and being such an old band for Necrophobic with so many albums, it's really difficult to know which one to choose. But I think we will come up with a good mix that works very good live, and that you easily can get into directly from second one.
Okay, dark side. Okay. So, one of the last questions for this interview, as I mentioned it, and going beyond the just the music, the metal is like I remember when I hear metal for the first time in the 80s, and I remember that the metal appears with this, or the extreme metal appears with this kind of aspect to against something, against society, against economic, politics, I don't know, religion, and obviously this thing maintains until the end of the 90s. Since 2000s, the metal will more accepted around the world for the social media. There are trends. You can see movies, books, etc. about the metal scene in all styles. But with this aspect, I spoke with a lot of musicians that the essence to fight against something in metal, punk, rock, etc. They're loose because now the metal doesn't have to fight against something, and there's more accepted for a lot of people. So in this aspect, what's your opinion about now the metal in some way lose the essence to fight against to Christianity, against to the society, politics? I don't know.
Yeah, I understand. I fully understand your question. Uh, I I must also say you were a lot younger when you started the band, so you were fighting everyone.
Yes.
Now I don't really fight against anything because I'm so old now. I just focus on having fun while I'm doing my music. When I come to a town, I don't sit backstage or I don't look at other bands. I go out in the town instead to find something new, interesting to look at. Maybe art museum or maybe a restaurant or something that's, you know, from this country or this city that I'm staying in. But yes, even though metal and death metal and every kind of metal is more accepted nowadays, it is still not accepted because we dress like we do, and that's also making a statement that I haven't changed my clothes. Yeah, I changed it today, but the way I present myself, I still do it like I was 20 years or something. So I don't go out in suit and tie now. So I think also there's always young bands that keeps the spirit alive. I've been keeping it alive for 30 years. I can pass it on to the younger bands now, and I can just, like I said, enjoy the ride while I'm still here and are able to come to many countries to play my music that I've started 30 years ago. It's fantastic.
Well, that is true. Well, Joaquim, the sad times arrive at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this interview like me. Well,
Yes.
like me, it's a pleasure. It was a tremendous pleasure to talk with you because I'm a huge fan. Well, I got the first two albums, other albums from the Necrophobic since the beginning to now. I remember to hear at the beginnings of 90s, the Nocturnal Silence was a mixture from death, black, darkness. A lot of things happened at that time. So the great album, by the way. And this new album is also a huge example that you mentioned. Beyond, you cross that line beyond or your boundaries and create a new beast with the sound of Necrophobic. That's amazing. Congratulations on it. I
Thank
did my
you very much.
pre-ordered for this aspect. So perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans and obviously Metallium followers?
Yes. First of all, I want to thank each and everyone for the support throughout all these years, listening to our music, buying our music, and coming to the shows. Personally, I wish that we could play many more dates when we are in South America. But I think that we always come back to South America. And in April we're coming to Mexico and Colombia, and I hope to do great shows with the crazy metalheads in the audience.